All right, Reality Supreme Being again here on July 30th, 2012. Just to let you know that, you know, I'm just throwing a possibility out there for everybody. Now I realize, you know, a lot of you aren't educated in quantum physics, or what I talk about yesterday in my videos on the 29th about how the 99th monkey philosophy, and if you really study quantum physics, you'll know that you'll be assured, and it'll be verified in your mind that there are great, very serious, what I call hardcore evidence of communications that take place involving love, caring, and hateful thoughts. When the video got cut off, it's still processing on my video manager. And it's not going to finish processing. I know the symptoms, the telltale signs. When I'm cut off like that, I guess between YouTube and my computer, it's trying to save what I had said into those 11 minutes. And the way I said it. That's very important. And I guess somebody must have, if it was a hacking job, somebody must have recognized and said, this video really makes a lot of sense. And he probably can reach a lot of people with this. And especially he's mentioning the Attorney General, that they went on CBS this morning and did an interview, or it was aired this morning, with Mrs. Harris, who's the Attorney General for California, and they talk, magnifying greatly in the broadcast how great it was that Jerry Brown signed this bill that she worked so hard on, that managed to sue the banks and get $18 billion over the 500 families a day that are losing their homes to foreclosure. That video I was talking about talked about retroactive foreclosure. What about the compensation for people with $18 billion? You can't compensate me for the evil and the civil rights violations that I've gone through, besides the House and the unfair practices of the police and the fire department and everybody that was involved? No. You know what's wrong here? Let me tell you about the 99th monkey philosophy. Remember when I said that if one person thinks hate long enough, something bad will happen? Or you'll pick up on somebody that's about to do something bad. Or you might send, not vibrations, but your electromagnetic field that you operate under has only a certain sphere of influence. Like some people call it an aura, but it isn't. You're constantly radiating energy outside your body. It's going out, just like the sun. You are made of the elemental scale. Many of the elements on the elemental scale, and those atoms vibrate at different frequencies, and those frequencies set off vibrational frequencies that go off into the atmosphere. Now, I know this is a stretch for many of you, and many of you may laugh about this, but if you have any knowledge about quantum physics or the 99th monkey philosophy, then you'll know, those of you that really know about that won't laugh at all. While I was talking and I was cut off, naturally I got angry. And while I was trying to catch my video and recover it somehow, a huge crash took place at the corner of Sherman Way and Canoga Avenue. And bang! You know, and I got up and I walked over there, and there's a huge crash that took place down there. Did that event, whoever cut me off and made me angry, did that event possibly set up hypothetical, and I'm saying this is theory, hypothetical 99th monkey philosophy power that generated that angry thought out there, and my vibrational frequency happened to match the vibrational frequencies of whoever was in the cars or the trucks? I couldn't tell just how many cars were involved, but it sounded like only one, two making a collision. And could that have had an impact or an effect long enough to set off a stimulus that had that person, whoever's at fault, maybe both of them, set off the stimulus that caused the accident? Now, a lot of people, now I'm not the only one who's mentioned something like this. People have thought about this kind of stuff all the time. If you think something long enough, or if you're angry, would an angry thought or a feeling possibly set up conditions for something to happen like that. So I don't know if somebody got hurt or not, but the fire department's down there, and the ambulance, and, you know, the police. It's an extremely busy intersection now that the orange line has come into play here. Anyway, so I decided to get on and do one more YouTube. It's only 5 minutes and 29 seconds so far. And finish talking about this Miss Harris thing, the interview. So the interview was quite a long interview. I think it went well on for a minute or so. A little more than a minute. And they, of course, you know, edit it and whatever and condense it, and they managed to get a good crux about what it was all about. But it struck me right away, what about people like us? People who've already lost whatever house they were in. Besides the rents being unfair. You know, rents are unfair, not only commercial property or residential, because landowners have a contract with the bank, a mortgage, and they have to pay. So when you're a renter, you're paying someone else's mortgage. And usually the rent is above that of the mortgage their payment is, because they want to make a little profit off the fact that they're renting a house or an apartment or whatever. The whole system has to be changed radically, because you're not going to get rid of homelessness. You're not going to get rid of people, the violent acts that take place, like at Blacksburg, Virginia, Colorado shooting, Anaheim, the poor schizophrenic kid who got killed in Fullerton last year, the congresswoman over there, and in Arizona who got shot, and all the shootings that have taken place. I told you, the media is responsible, the government is responsible. They have this secret order on me. I'm sure they do. They'll never admit to it, but I'm sure they have a secret order on me, and they've watched me for years. They even collected, actually my twin found out that they were collecting information on him for more than 20 years. Because he sued somebody once, and during a deposition, they asked him a question that only someone who's digging would have found out that question. And he immediately answered and said, "I've never used that name. I've never done that. So how did you people stick that on my record that exists somewhere?" This is evil, where you're collecting information on people, and they can actually, lawyers can actually bring it up from the past and use it or try to use it against you. Somebody made a big mistake. And then in his situation, Child Services also uses background information. They call it a life scan. They bring stuff up all the way back to when you were a teenager. Where do they get all this information? Who's compiling all of it? Who's programming it? Who's putting it into the computers? You got a piss poor society. I mean, it is so sick. I am on death row. I'm on death row on a public street, waiting to die, because I can't get any kind of serious help. And when I say help, I don't mean injections of drugs because people think I'm crazy. No, I'm not talking about that. I have a DVD that shows you the real nature of psychiatrists and psychoanalysts, and they're the nuts, not me. So here you have a person who is, in many cases, a lot of my videos show you I'm very angry, I'm very frustrated, and no one will help. No one that's in power or authority or has any kind of... If those 8,000 people were to pick up the phone, everybody that's viewed my videos, and start calling, what do you call them, philanthropists, people who are actually trying to really make available funds to help people like me. And the help always comes, even if it does come now, it's pretty much coming way too late, because the city of Los Angeles has managed to take everything from me And I've said this before in my other videos. This wasn't done by a natural disaster, an earthquake, a hurricane, tornado, or a flood. This was done by a flood of people. Procedural fanatics, jerks, morons, people who have possession of property, many properties that I've been on, who use their greed, their selfishness to take advantage of people like me. And they have unfair rules and regulations that go beyond what they're asking for their property. It may work for other people that they've gotten to sign their contracts and fill their storage units up, but it doesn't work for people like me. For people like me, it's just a temporary place until I hopefully can find a place. And I haven't been able to find a place in 3 years. Every place I go to has too many quagmire qualifications. Qualifications sunk in the pit of quagmire, where no matter which direction you go, it's a situational irony. It's a total and multiple situational ironies. And you have to accept or sign away and waive rights that you normally would not waive away if contracts were more fairly composed. But the composition of these contracts that people make are slanted and unfair, and they ask you to waive rights that you normally wouldn't waive rights in a true civilized society, a fair society, a society that wants everyone to be a winner, not a loser. And that's why Obama and Romney and all the other presidential candidates, none of them, you know, I'll repeat something I said in my other videos because I have time enough to do it. It's only 12 minutes. In 2004, when Kerry and Bush were debating against each other in Kansas City, Missouri, I debated 4 unknown presidential candidates, because there's always about 300 candidates that list themselves with the Federal Election Commission. And I got, the rush hour crowd was asked to vote on who they thought was winning the debate on the radio station, the FM radio station. I won all 4 debates, all four times, and I got more than 90% of the vote for each one of the debates. And I think that's what scares the politicians the most. They hear a nobody like me, someone who's been hurt over and over and over again, who's a claimer that my civil rights have been violated repeatedly, hundreds of times, and they're afraid that somebody like me would come into power and authority, and they're going, man, if this guy ever gets, and then they don't have to worry, they don't have to think that. You know why? Because they have control of the media. They can tell the media, no, you are not. We'll take your FCC. They'll probably use the FCC licensing people. They'll say, we'll take your license away from you. We don't care who you are, whether you're ABC, CBS, NBC. We'll take your license away from you if you give this guy any serious attention. Because they're afraid of people like me. They really are, including the media. They're really afraid of someone like me. But you know what? There's other people out there, eventually, that there'll be hundreds of me. And eventually, maybe not in my lifetime, this addictive habit of wanting to be a control freak fanatic, to be in control and have all the money, have all the toys, the one with the most toys and money, the one with the winner of everything wins everything when they die with the most toys. That's ridiculous. You don't win anything when you die. You can't take anything with you. You have to live here and now, in the present. And I can't live here and now in the present because my past has been so screwed with. It's left me nothing but a quagmire of scars and memories that I cannot erase. Oh, during the day when I'm wandering through the world, I don't. I try not to think about it. I think about all my YouTubes and what I'll say next. I compose things in my brain, but you know, I don't write anything down. It's all done off the cuff. Nothing's rehearsed. And I think that's a very plus for any candidate, whether you're running for any office in any country. Because that tells and shows people who you really are. That shows them when you can get angry. That you're just like them. You're nothing different. But that with authority, that you do have, that I do, have the brains and the efficiency to be able to bring about the right changes. Because Obama and Romney, I told you, it's a Democratic-Republican dual dictatorship. And the power behind that dual dictatorship throne is the Bilderberg, the Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, the International Monetary Fund, all the banks of the world. This is why I'm blacklisted, because if the whole country heard me say, take all your money out of the banks would go, oh, wait a minute, you can't have them on TV telling people to take their money out of the banks because they're pissed off that the food prices are getting higher and the gas prices are constantly high and everybody's having to work 2 or 3 times as hard to try and do the same thing that everybody was doing in the 1950s. Oh man, the government has already made alternative plans. They have these concentration camps built. You can see them on YouTube in many different places. What's all that for? For the upstarts? For all the malcontents like me? Because they certainly can't kill you like Adolf Hitler was killing people, because then that would, show the world what America is really like. A bunch of people, what is America like? A bunch of people who are addicted to their toys and rely on a controlled war environment to put gas and resources into their lifestyles, no matter what level of society they're at. And of course, the ones on the lower levels like me are the ones that get crapped on. The ones that can't make anything of their life because they've taken every possession away from me. And once you take cars, boats, trucks, motorhomes, and you trap a person like me, force a person like me to be a prisoner in this country, it's over. It was over a long time ago. In each of the videos since July the 21st, since the Colorado shooting, I've had just a handful of people look at the videos. I usually do 3 or 4 or 5 per day, and out of those 5, if I count up all the views, it's anywhere from 50 to 100, 125 people that have, compiled together, added together, looked at one of those views in that day period. But I'm not getting millions of views like other people. None of my videos have ever gone viral. The only one that got the most views right away was when I did the first one, Colorado shooting, The Truth. And I've got like 290 people, or 291 that have looked at that since the 21st. So that one kind of went what I call mini viral for me, because, I'm not anybody important. I'm not, when I die, no one's going to care whether I die, So, and I don't care. I'll be glad when I die. There's nothing to live for anymore anyway.